everybody, welcome back to Nerd Goblin Art. I'm Lula. Okay, so I made these molds. I made them using these 3D prints we did on our own resin 3D printer. I made them a while ago and I've not really done much with them. I only recently started using resin when I made them, and I was a little bit put off by getting bubbles all the time, but I've learnt a lot now. So I'm using Let's Resin epoxy resin. It's a 1-to-1, and I'm going to be mixing in well, at the time, this bronze metallic. I wasn't sure how it would react. These are from Into Resin. So just showing you, just to remember to shake them up because the pigment sinks to the bottom. But I quickly realised once I put some in, it would take a heck of a lot of this resin, not resin, a lot of this alcohol ink to actually get any colour. So I do end up grabbing my Let's Resin chameleon powder, and that one is bronze. So if anything, the alcohol ink has given it a nice little extra bit of a golden twingy tone. So if you weren't aware, sorry, these are the door knockers from one of my favourite movies, The Labyrinth. Now, I paint a lot of these things. I do paint stuff from The Labyrinth quite a lot, and I also I make the worm, which is called William. Hello. And I also make Ludo. Now, printing these guys on our 3D printer, it's a bit it's troublesome because of the actual knocker part. So I was like, well, I'll have a go at making my own mold, you know, and it takes a lot from the 3D printer we have. So I sprayed in some isopropyl alcohol. Now, when I first made these, I didn't know about isopropyl alcohol until I learned about it. So I figured, give it a spray in there. You know, I'm a bit more confident with resin now as well than where I was when I first started out. I tried, I think, running before I could walk, but I was really chuffed when these molds turned out as well as they did. I'm just giving them a little bit of a dib and a dab with the, I am sorry for being slightly off camera. These are the knocker parts, but I promise you, and you'll see more of it as the video goes on. Those bits are tiny and it takes a good hand to get them in and not get it everywhere. So I sprayed with some isopropyl. I couldn't remember how much resin they took either, but that was fine because I have some, I want to do another crocodile because he's gorgeous. And I've had some new molds turn up from Temu, so I just wanted to give them a go. I'm doing it slowly. I did put this resin through my debubbler as well, in hopes that I didn't get too much of a bubbly the bubble effect. When I last made them, I got loads of bubbles like in their noses and in their eyes. So a bit more confident now, a bit more patient. Learned a few little bits along the way too. And you know, it's a nice balance going between them. Yeah. So another squitch, another spray. So I'm definitely going to do some extras, and I'm definitely doing my little crocodile. I am absolutely in love with him. I think I love him as much now as the tortoise. So whenever I get the chance, he doesn't go anywhere. He doesn't go into the shop that I have a space in, and none of them have gone on my website so far. They're actually sitting on my desk watching me while I work. They're my little audience. And they just make me happy. They make me smile. So I squirted in a little bit of isopropyl in there. I'm starting to get the knack with this one as well. My first one had quite a few bubbles in it. But I find that opening up a little bit and such, that seems to help. So there's my little crocodile. My last one I called Fred. I don't know what to call this one. I'll think of it anyway. So I'm just digging because I had a bunch of moulds arrive from Temu today. Well, yesterday. This was yesterday. And some of the things I couldn't remember what they were. But this one is fun. And I'm not going to tell you what it is. You might have guessed. You might have just seen it in the little flash. When I showed it, but I fast forwarded it. Yeah, I did. So he's gonna get this mold is gonna get a first little go as well. And now I know how much resin it takes, and I also get to find out where the problem issues might be with this mold. I'm using the heat gun. I'm using a combination of heat gun and isopropyl alcohol. Cover all the bases. So once again, just making sure it's tidy. I actually filmed this quite late in the evening. I don't tend to do a lot of resin work late in the evenings. So this was a late one. So waiting game until today. So these are cured. Can you guess what it is yet? So it's a really nice little mould, actually, nice and squidgy and easy to use. So I'm looking forward to doing this one again in properly. So did you guess right? No, he's got this. There's where I've got a problem issue. I don't actually mind it in particular because, he might have had a battle or something. So yeah, I like that. It's a really cute mould. Find it on Temu. Don't think he was listed as Darth Vader. But I saw it and I was like, I'm having that. So here's my little friend. Ta-da. Oh, look at his little face. And the colour's really nice, actually. I will trim that off. Oh, but look at him. He's so cute. Anyway. So I'm pulling these out, and just as I start pulling out, I realise that these are still a little bit, look at that, a bit soft. But I committed, I'd already started taking it out, so it was coming out. And it's fine, I was gentle, and once I've done taking these out and working on other things, they go on the heat mat anyway, just so they can continue to harden up. These were definitely good and done. Squidgy widgeon, being careful. They're actually really easy to come out. I'm just being very careful because some are like, I don't know if they're horns really, but in them. Hey, look at that little face. When have you seen on Facebook where people stick their faces in snow? That's what it reminds me of. So yeah, I am incredibly pleased, very pleased. Tiny little bit of trimming, but they've actually got eyes and not hundreds of holes in their noses. So this is how it will go. I'll be using UV resin later on once these once the knocker parts are completely cured, when they're firm, I will be UV resining them into place. So the next part, now I've had this frame mold forever, and I really wanted to make the frame for them. And this size, it is perfect. It is perfect for the size of what I've got. So I'm going to use some Let's Resin flakes. It's really squishy. I am a little bit concerned about bubbles because when I've poured this previously, I had a lot of bubbles, but I'm going to put it in the debubbler. So I'm going to brush this on. It's going to take a few moments because of varnishing it right in. So I'm going to play you a little bit of music.
Colors
See you in a minute.
Sky, brush strokes flying high, rainbows all around, magic on the ground, canvas full of light, stars are shining bright, dreams they start to bloom in this painted room. Whimsical dreams take flight in the day and night, painted hearts so free, together we will be. Mountains made of gold, stories yet untold, rivers made of silk, wonder in each blink. Whimsical dreams take flight in the day.
Okay, that was lovely, wasn't it? So using Let's Resin black mica powder, I've already mixed the resin. I used my hand mixer because I don't need a great deal of resin for this one. I think I've put 4 ounces in. It probably could have done with 4.5, but I was happy. So that's gone into the debubbler, and I'm just showing you, isn't it pretty? Those flakes are really lovely. The static is a pain in the backside. That's why I was holding the bottle over the actual mould, because when you try and move it, it just kind of tries to fly everywhere. So this has been in the debubbler. I was holding up high to, you know, there wasn't any, I couldn't see any bubbles in there, but I still held it up high to possibly help pop them on the way. And like I said, I put in 4 ounces. I'm scraping here. You could have probably done with maybe half more. Not even that. So once again, I'm going to be using my heat gun, as I'm showing you right here. I was actually quite happy with the thing because my, you know, the debubbler. Gotta remember that it is colder in the UK at the moment, so I had warmed my resin. I popped the bottles into a warm bath of water for about 20 minutes, half an hour, and I think that's really helped. I think in the last previous videos I haven't thought about that. So on to the next. Now, did you miss me? Now, yes, it is the titchy witchy little bit bendy, but it's fine. I don't want to wait. I want to get this done. Ready? Steady? Isn't it lovely? I'm actually really impressed with that. I didn't actually mind if I had black and such showing through, like almost a distressed type look. So I'm pleased with that. It's really pretty, I think it is anyway. Yeah, and he fits. Look, it's like they were made for each other. Really does look like they were made for each other. So it's at this point I notice my thumb is bleeding. Now, not at this point, in a moment. I thought it was from the knife, but I've just noticed blood now. So I think I might have caught my finger when I was taking it out of the mould. So I have a hasty retreat just to grab a plaster for my boo-boo. So I was like, oh, there's fun there. Where's the blood coming from? See? Ow! Ouch! Stingy! Bad knife. But in hindsight, I think it might have been when demolding. So I'm going to show you again. It's all its beauty. Blue pizza moment. Ta-da-da. I made this months ago when I first got the mould. I don't mind that it's not the same, and I don't want it going to waste. I've had it sitting in the back. I did varnish on a bit of the flake, but in all honesty, I really don't mind. I can always add to it again if I make them again, because these will get made again, you know. So I had a scrapbook of these lovely papers, and I have cut some card to size. I know it doesn't look straight, it's fine. And I always put out too much glue. I thought I'd use the tack it again, because you know, this tack is quite good. You put it on, you let it dry, and then stick stuff down. So I thought it'd be easy to use, better than a Pritt stick, really, than a glue stick. I did obviously put too much on one, but I do scrape a little bit off. The paper, I do not remember where it came from, but it was in my scrap collection, so I thought it was perfect. So while they're drying, I am going to UV resin those knockers into their mouths and ears. I do love the film. Not watched it for a couple of weeks. You thought I was going to say years. I watch it like a few times a year. So yeah, great fun. my son, he's 21 now. He still doesn't like the film because he didn't like the fireys. They terrified him. Bless. And also he doesn't like the Never Ending Story either, because of the Gomork at the end with the wolf, like werewolf. No, it's not a werewolf, it's a wolf type thing. He's terrified. He'd go and hide. He'd go and stand in the passageway. Bless his heart. And he still doesn't like it. In hindsight, I should have probably have checked for trimming on that one, but it's sorted. It didn't need too much. So in with the ears, and it's rude to stare. These guys say. In fact, my son always upset at the end of Beauty and the Beast as well, when Beast gets stabbed. I'm on about the cartoon one, the cartoon Disney. When he knew that was coming, he'd go wait in the corridor. Oh, bless. So I did find this one a little bit fiddly. I felt like I needed that extra hand. But I got it done. It was a little bit fidgety for me. I often feel like I've got two left hands. Now, when I was putting the resin into the ears, I noticed how lovely the bronzy colour came out. So it was at that moment, it wasn't planned, it was just after that moment when I seen the lovely shine, I decided, you know what, I'm just going to put a coat of UV resin over both these guys' faces as well. I used the torch just to keep it in place because I did squitch out a bit too much. So UV lamp out, and they're going to have a few rounds under there. So that is a big difference, I think. With putting on the bit of resin, because obviously the mold I made, it's matte because I could have sprayed them. I guess I could have varnished the 3D mold, the 3D prints to make them more glossy, but I didn't know that then that you could do that, and I do now. But it's fine. It's easy enough. It's quite simple just to put a little film of the UV resin on. So I'm just fitting on the paper, and don't worry, I know it's not straight. I know it fits behind the frames because I checked, and at some point, possibly before they go up anywhere, I'm also going to be covering the backs of the frames with either black felt, or I might just paint the back of the cardboard black just to make it look a bit more tidier. I'll probably glue on felt. So I'm just checking for stickiness. So I just pop in them, and I just turned up the actual temperature a little bit on that lamp. And just making sure I'm tapping and there's no air bubbles. Now during that time I got my glue gun out because I forgot I needed it out, and I've just zoomed out a little bit because I realised you couldn't really see everything that was going on because I was so locked in. Behold the mess that is my desk. I cannot. I hate the stringy bits of glue from the glue guns. I wish. I wonder if that you can buy a glue gun that can be charged up and you don't have wires in the way, because I find it, my power source is over the other side. It's on the left, not the right. So just pulled those bits off, and I'm happy with the positioning. See, you can't see that it's not straight on the card and the card isn't fully covered because it's all behind and in the frame. Hooray! I realised at this point that starting from that top and going around would reduce me getting any stringy, longy bits cut across the actual card. I do learn. There we go, and placing this one as well. It's like, oh, do you put it down? Ah. Ruined forever if you get it wrong. So there we go, and these guys are ready to go in position, and I am going to use the glue gun again to place them down. Just figuring out the position of them. Those stringy bits, I tell you. Never mind. Yeah, I don't know if they were just on his face. There we go. So I'm happy with that position. I wish I'd done that with the other guy. I didn't. So he doesn't. I don't think it's as good. So there we go. There's one. Mustn't talk with your mouth full, that guy. And it's rude to stare the other guy. So, yeah, hindsight's a wonderful thing. And I thought from my position that he was in, this guy's in, but he's a little bit too far over the one side. I'm really happy with this one, with the positioning. And I do love the colour on that frame. Really happy with that. So pretty. And this one, although I think he's awesome, I can add to the frame later if I want, if I feel like it. But I kind of like it like this, because he was the really grumpy one and the other one was more friendly. So I hope you enjoyed. Please stick around for the glamour shots. Love you. Stay weird.
Magic beats within my heart, riding dragons through the storm, creating worlds with my art. Paint the sky with ancient tales, canvas